What's it like to retire in Alaska? Interesting, man. It's the last place I wanted to even visit, and then we moved there. They got that puppy. They got a cute couple there. He actually looks like a. They kind of look like the people that we used to know in Dayton, Virginia. Big. There's such. Oh man, just wonderful, wonderful people. Charles still keeps touch with them on Facebook. But man, he just look like that right there. He looks just like my man Keith. That's funny. And his wife had a kind of yellowish hair. It's kind of funny too. And they used to watch Maddie when Maddie was a kid. Oh man. Anyway, all right. So it's Marilyn Carpenter, and there she is, Art Carpenter. Hey, wait a second. I think I know these people. Wait a second, Art Carpenter. Let's read on. All right. I love warm weather, sunshine caressing my skin, even walks wearing tank tops and shorts, bedroom windows open at night, so lovely and comfortable. For 30 years, I'd lived in San Diego, which was never really hot enough for me. I'd never been to Alaska. I think did she write a book? Dude, I'm telling you, I think she did. I don't know, let's see. I'd never been to Alaska, was not particularly interested in it, and was fairly sure it'd be the last of the 50 states I'd visit. So when I did retire in Anchorage, what happened? Grandchildren. That's what happened. When my son and his wife moved to Alaska, I thought it was just a phase. Surely humans could not survive the godforsaken frozen north. A direct quote from my California sister. When my daughter moved up there, I also told myself it was just another phase. Where did Art work at? I can't remember. When my husband and I paid our first visit in the dead of winter, my feet froze. My arthritic hands throbbed painfully in my pitiful gloves. I was blind to anything positive, and I didn't see any future for myself there. So we were wanting to go back to San Diego. Then our daughter-in-law became pregnant, and she and our son honored us by welcoming us to become involved grandparents. Always about the grandchildren. The transition was anything but smooth. The first thing to go was our budget. The year was 2008, and the housing and financial crisis were in full swing. We had to slash the selling price on our home, which still took months to sell. Meanwhile, we had several months of paying two separate mortgages. The move itself also cost more than we expected. Relocating to Alaska is considered an international move. That's crazy. We had to pay extra fees. Final cost, $20,000. Then Alaska's high cost of living hit us. Everything was more expensive, much more expensive. Shipping charges increased the price of everything. A gallon of gasoline at the time cost $4.35. A new reality stared us in the face. To afford to live in Alaska, we had to both go back to work. Fortunately, both had been self-employed. I'm telling you, this is them. Holy crap. My husband I'm a family therapist. My husband is a statistician. We both enjoyed our work, so it wasn't torture. We just needed to earn some additional income to replenish the savings a bit. After several more years in rewarding private practice, I gave myself permission to retire at 65 and my hub at 68. Yikes, is that a moose on their house? Now, to my complete astonishment, I love Alaska. I wonder if I can get my wife to say it about Maine. In addition, because the grandkids there. Yeah, Marilyn, easy when your grandkids are there. What if your grandkids were in freaking, I don't know, Paducah, Kentucky? You'd love Paducah, Kentucky too. In addition to being close to grandkids who nourish my soul, this is such an extraordinary, beautiful place. It makes my spirit soar to live there. Is that a moose? Moose are frequent visitors to our house in Anchorage. Here a moose drops in on one of the neighbors. We live in Anchorage, yet woods and wildlife are all around. The other day, a moose was munching on a tree branch across the street. We had wanted to go on to the right, but there she was, so we walked left. While you need to stay safe, mostly it's a delight to see these big wild animals walking down our street and snacking the bushes. Anytime of the year, a typical day for me now starts with a 1 mile swim at the local YMCA. We do at least one walk a day with our dog. And there are year-round opportunities for outdoor stuff. Yeah, man. We hike, ski, snowshoe, explore. We even help sometimes with snow sculptures in town at the Fur Rendezvous or Fur Rondi to locals. 2 weeks of dog sled races, Native Alaskan art, and more. Our daughter-in-law is an artist and designs the sculptures that we then carve and create from snow at her direction. Temperature in the winter varies from sub-zero to 30 degrees, so we have to learn to dress accordingly. There's no bad weather, only bad gear. Yeah? One of my favorite activities is skiing on frozen lakes, gliding smoothly over the vast peacefulness, ice skating, All right, right on. In the summer, with seemingly endless days and temperatures from 57 degrees, we take long hikes. Oh, picking blueberries on mountainsides where you can see for miles is a favorite summer activity. Seeing Denali in the distance, North America's tallest mountain is a bonus. We visit our son's lakeside cabin in all seasons. Come here, buddy. But we also camp using trailers, tents, and structures known as public use cabins, generally basic wood shelters. Right on. My favorite gadget when camping is a battery-powered racket that zaps bugs. I got one of those. Those are fantastic. Waving it around and hearing the zap zap brings great satisfaction. There are, of course, practical matters like healthcare. While the rest of the country has been catching up, healthcare still costs more here than in the lower 48. And the very few primary care physicians in our area accept Medicare. That's interesting. Very few accept Medicare. The major medical facilities in Anchorage provide most procedures, including knee and hip replacements, pacemakers, and some advanced care in areas like neurology and cancer treatment. But traveling to Seattle, which is 1,500 miles away, is sometimes the best option. Housing doesn't have to be expensive in Anchorage. 1 or 2 bedrooms can be found in the $200,000 to $400,000 range. Wow. The daily cost of items frequently exceeds those found elsewhere. $365 a month for electricity and natural gas, $600 a month for groceries, $100 for internet, $130 for cable. Price of gasoline has come down to about $2.60 a gallon since we first moved here. My spirit wasn't soaring when we decided to move here. I was sure we'd be trapped inside a house all winter, shivering until some sun returned in April. My husband's fears, which he only told me later, were that we wouldn't really be able to survive at all. He thought temperatures below zero would literally take our breath away. He worried about pipes bursting and cars not being able to start. So where is that San Diegan who craves heat? I'm still here. I read by the fireplace. I've discovered 60 degrees is comfortable when it falls winter below zero. I travel to California when I can. In the meantime, I warm my heart by hugging my grandkids. Hey, man, that's fantastic. I know this guy. Art Carpenter, I'm telling you, I know it. Cool, man. That's fantastic. I know she had written a book, this lady. Having lived in Anchorage during the first 5 years of my career, I can certainly appreciate this article. It's ironic how people who don't know much about another place have such odd notions and assumptions. All right. Let me see if I can. Maybe not an author, but I know that guy. I know Art Carpenter. That's crazy. That's nuts, man. I know them for sure. That's nuts. Maybe they're YouTube subscribers of mine. Let's see what else we got for conversations here. These folks didn't retire to Alaska. They retired to Los Anchorage, as is often called. Los Anchorage. I've been more interested in what their life was. They retired to Juneau or Fair. There's always some troll here. The sub-zero temperature is probably real enough for some San Diego person where a cold day is 60 degrees in January. Geez, sounds like you live outside Anchorage and therefore have the knee-jerk hatred of the place. Yeah. I've been there twice and highly recommend it to want to visit an unspoiled remote part of our country. Alaska, no thanks. I'm in the Northeast. Susan Booze. She likes to drink beers. We get everything here from New Orleans humidity to Minnesota blizzards, along with some San Diego days thrown in. No weather pattern lasts forever here, and the change is nice. Yeah, I get that. The Carpenter family shows that creative plan for retirement can be a beautiful endeavor. 100%, man. And this guy moved south to Florida, which suits our lifestyle. 86 degrees today on 2 weeks ago. All right. Article did not mention that every person in Alaska gets $2,000 check from the state annually. All right. All right. Cool. Nothing in this article justifies retirement in Alaska. I kept looking for it. I was hoping to hear a clear and convincing rationale would emerge to justify the entire article. The place is barren, cold, and expensive. Healthcare is terrible. The only justification is to rely on her grandchildren. Okay. Wow, this Manuel is not a happy camper. She neglected to mention that Alaska assigns you grandkids when you move there, making it bearable. Not sure where you live, Manuel, but Alaska is certainly a very big place with many different climates. Too cold. We also do at least one walk with our dog. I hope you meant to type at least two. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Housing doesn't have to be expensive. 1 or 2 bedrooms can be found at $200,000 to $400,000 range. Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah, right here. But fewer people want to live in Philly, which is why housing is getting less expensive. What a nightmare being followed across country by your meddling in-laws. Hey, there's Ellen. Man, I liked you last time. Good night. But remember we talked about her when we talked about that crazy lady who said men don't work as hard as women. But they invited her, Ellen. So I'm one strike against you. We had one plus for you last time and one strike against you. I came for a vacation 45 years ago. I'm still there. All right. What's it like to retire in Alaska? I went to Anchorage for 2 weeks on business years ago. It's beautiful, but there's no big city amenities. Natives told me it's clouded almost all the time and always too cold, which matched my experience. Of course, natives are going to tell you that, man, because they don't want you moving there. Let's see. Following children where their careers take them can be problematic. My advice would have been to remain home in San Diego. Okay. Hey, I know a guy named Mike Bond too. What if that's my man Mike Bond? That's interesting. Can you look him up? View profile. Let's see if it lets us. If I'm not a subscriber, can I view profile? I know a guy named Mike Bond. Yeah, guess not. Oh. What if that's my man Mike Bond who I know? Let me hold on just a second. Interesting too, because my Mike Bond is out of Florida, and let's see. Yeah, maybe not. I don't see anything. If he posts anything on the Florida thing there, so I guess not. I mean, Mike Bond's a pretty common name, I grant you. Well, don't say where he's at. Anyway, so let's keep reading. That's pretty interesting, man. Mike Butler. Oh, my wife and I love Alaska. I've been there twice in February, and she's been there 4 times. We consider moving there, but we have a large family in Western New York. Yeah, blessed are the grandparents who hug their grandkids to warm themselves. Hear that, Chloe? Blessed are the grandparents who hug their grandkids to warm themselves. So I'm just telling, we just talked about Chloe. Said, children make pops feel very good. Chloe's like, dude, I'm only 17. Well, I mean, I don't mean children like you. I mean children like the kids you have. You see what I'm saying? So Chloe's 17. It's like, look, man. So Chloe's like, hey, I can do what I want. I said, but just remember when you have babies, you'll have a ready and waiting granddad and grandma. Right, Coco? All right. I read your story with interest. Thanks for sharing. We have a long way to go. We have a daughter starting college this year. Man. Last is on my travel list, but Colorado suits me fine. Right on. Great article. Always thought about it. Visited her twice. Blown away with the fabulous views of nature. Interesting. We met a lawyer, transplant, who actually knew the governor. What a breath of fresh air she was. When the governor took over, she said, we don't need the NC cook which comes with a job. We know how to cook. I don't know what that means. And the extra security we get, we don't need. We know how to handle guns. All right, I don't understand. What if they've been better off selling the furniture before the move? All right. A friend moved to Alaska 6 months ago. When he came back to California, he said, everyone up there is just like you. I should have asked him what he meant. A few years later, I was in Ketchikan for a brief visit and went on a float plane tour. When we got back, the owner of the plane said, how'd you like the flight? My response is, I like Alaska, but I love that plane. Have not been back. But okay, still didn't answer what it was just like me. All right. Anyway, cool stuff. I know that guy. I know I know those people without question. I mean, I've not met him in person, but I know them. So good stuff, man. There you go. If you have any idea in retiring to Alaska, put in the show notes, will you? See ya.